In the sterile, luminescent halls of the Galactic Concord Medical Station, Dr. Clint Sith watched the chaos unfold on the viewing screen. The image displayed a desolate battlefield on a distant, war-torn human colony. Smoke billowed into the atmosphere, and the ground was littered with the debris of battle. Yet, amidst the destruction, something extraordinary was happening. The humans, those odd, fragile, yet tenacious creatures, were doing the unthinkable. They were risking their lives to save their wounded, often plunging into the thick of gunfire to drag a comrade to safety. Some carried strangers, their species indistinguishable beneath soot and blood. Dr. Xith's 4 hearts pounded in synchrony as he witnessed a human soldier apply a makeshift tourniquet to a wounded alien soldier, a species from the Arlan Dominion, historically at odds with humanity. The human whispered comforting words, their meaning lost to Xith, but their intent unmistakably clear. "Doctor, the patient in Base 6 requires attention," interrupted one of Xith's assistants, a sleek, 4-armed Fentheri, but Sith couldn't tear his gaze from the screen. "Proceed without me," he murmured, waving a tentacled hand dismissively. He leaned closer to the screen, his bioluminescent eyes narrowing. The human's actions defied everything he had been taught in the prestigious Concord Medical Academy, where pragmatism was paramount and emotional detachment was considered a virtue. To the Concord, a life saved was a statistical achievement. To the humans, it seemed a life saved was a triumph of the soul. Dr. Xith had always been a model Concordian medic. His meticulous attention to detail and unwavering adherence to protocol had earned him numerous accolades. Yet, in this moment, he felt something alien, a pang of envy. The humans didn't just save lives, they celebrated them. Their medics cried tears of joy when a patient recovered and mourned openly when they couldn't save someone. For Xith, saving lives had always been a clinical procedure. For them, it was an act of defiance against the universe's cruelty. The screen shifted to show a human field hospital, hastily constructed but teeming with activity. A young medic, her uniform stained with blood, was performing surgery on an alien, a Catharan warrior whose anatomy Xith recognized as notoriously complex. She worked with speed and precision, guided only by instinct and rudimentary scans. Beside her, another human held the Catharan's clawed hand, whispering encouragements. The warrior's 6 eyes, wide with fear, softened as the human's calming voice broke through their panic. Sith's tentacles trembled. The humans were healing their enemies, not out of obligation or strategy, but because they could not bear to see another being suffer. Their audacity was both baffling and inspiring. By the time the broadcast ended, Sith knew what he had to do. He approached his supervisor, a towering crystalline entity named Dr. Venkor. "You wish to resign." Kor's voice resonated in harmonic frequencies, their form refracting light into 1,000 colors. "Your record is exemplary, Xith. What compels this decision?" The humans, Xith admitted, his voice quivering with conviction. "I've spent my career adhering to protocols, calculating probabilities, and measuring success in numbers. But they measure it in hope. I must learn from them." Kor's crystalline form shifted, a sign of contemplation. Humans are reckless, emotional, and often illogical. Their methods defy reason. And yet, Xith countered, they inspire loyalty, courage, and healing in ways we cannot fathom. They save lives not because they are ordered to, but because they care. Kor studied Xith for a long moment before nodding. "Very well, your resignation is accepted. May your journey be enlightening." Xith's arrival on Earth was nothing short of overwhelming. The planet buzzed with activity, its cities teeming with a dizzying array of sounds, colors, and scents. Humanity's diversity, both cultural and biological, was a marvel. Yet it was in the bustling emergency rooms and chaotic disaster zones where Xith truly found his place. At first, the human medics regarded him with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Standing over 7 feet tall, the lithe, cephalopod-like form, Xith was a stark contrast to his human counterparts. But his advanced knowledge of xenobiology and his dexterous tentacles quickly earned their respect. One of the first to befriend him was Dr. Elena Carter, a seasoned trauma surgeon with an irreverent sense of humor and an unshakable determination. "You're telling me your species has 4 hearts and you still don't feel stressed," she teased during a lull in the ER. "Stress is inefficient," Sith replied, his tone earnest. "It clouds judgment." "Maybe," Elena said, grinning, "but it also reminds us we're alive." Over time, Sith began to understand what she meant. He saw it in the way medics cheered when a patient stabilized, in the tearful embraces of families reunited, and even in the quiet moments of shared grief. He felt it himself when a young boy he had treated for severe burns hugged him tightly, his small arms barely reaching around Sith's torso. It was in the aftermath of a massive earthquake that Sith's transformation became complete. The disaster had leveled entire neighborhoods, leaving thousands injured and displaced. Sith worked tirelessly alongside his human colleagues, his tentacles expertly suturing wounds and stabilizing fractures. But it wasn't just his medical skills that mattered. It was the comfort he offered, holding hands, offering reassurances, and even sharing a rare, tentative smile. When the last patient was airlifted to safety, Sith collapsed onto the rubble-strewn ground beside Elena. She handed him a bottle of water, her face streaked with dirt and exhaustion. "So," she said, "still thinks stress is inefficient." Sith chuckled, a low, resonant sound. "Perhaps it has its place." Years later, Sith stood before a group of newly inducted medics at Earth's Intergalactic Medical Academy. His journey from a clinical detached Concordian medic to a compassionate healer had made him a legend. "Healing," he told them, "is not merely about mending bodies. It is about mending spirits. Humanity taught me that every life saved is a victory against the void, a declaration that we will not surrender to despair." The auditorium erupted in applause, a cacophony of human and alien sounds. And for the first time in his life, Sith felt truly alive.